Every file has a story. Some were never meant to be found. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to receive a letter from a killer who wanted the entire world to know he was watching? Imagine opening your morning newspaper and finding a handwritten message from a murderer who not only confessed to his crimes, but demanded that his words be printed on the front page. He didn't ask for money. He didn't demand revenge. He wanted attention. He wanted fear. And he wanted everyone to know that he could strike again whenever he wished. In the late 1960s, Northern California became the hunting ground of one of the most infamous unidentified killers in history. Unlike many serial murderers who tried to hide from the public, this man actively sought the spotlight. He mailed letters to newspapers. He created cryptic ciphers. He mocked investigators. He laughed at the police. And he signed every letter with a strange circular symbol and a single, chilling name: Zodiac. More than half a century later, despite thousands of investigators, hundreds of suspects, millions of dollars spent, and advances in DNA technology, nobody has ever been officially identified as the Zodiac Killer. His identity remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in criminal history. But what truly made this case unforgettable wasn't simply the murders. It was the terrifying game that followed. A game between a killer and an entire nation. Tonight, we reopen the Zodiac file, not to chase myths, but to examine the evidence, to separate fact from speculation, and to understand how one anonymous man managed to become one of the most feared criminals America has ever known. The story begins on a quiet December night in 1968. Lake Herman Road stretched through the countryside east of Vallejo, California. The road was isolated, surrounded by open fields and rolling hills. It was a popular destination for young couples looking for privacy. On the evening of December 20th, 17-year-old David Faraday and 16-year-old Betty Lou Jensen parked their car along the roadside. It was supposed to be an ordinary date. Instead, it became the beginning of one of America's greatest criminal mysteries. Sometime before 11:15 that night, another vehicle pulled in nearby. No one knows exactly what happened next. Evidence suggests the unknown driver approached the teenagers. Perhaps he ordered them out of the car. Perhaps they tried to flee. David was shot at close range beside the vehicle. Betty Lou ran into the darkness. She never made it far. Multiple bullets struck her from behind as she desperately tried to escape. The killer disappeared into the night without leaving witnesses behind. Investigators searched the area extensively. There was no clear motive. Nothing had been stolen. The victims appeared to have been chosen completely at random. At first, detectives believed the murders might have been an isolated attack, a tragic but singular event. They had no idea they had just encountered the beginning of a nightmare that would soon grip the entire nation. For more than 6 months, investigators found few meaningful leads. The Lake Herman Road murders remained unsolved. Then, during the early hours of July 5th, 1969, history repeated itself. Just after midnight, 19-year-old Darlene Ferrin and 22-year-old Michael Mageau were sitting inside a parked car at Blue Rock Springs Park, only a few miles from the first crime scene. The night was quiet. A vehicle slowly entered the parking area. It paused, then unexpectedly drove away. For a brief moment, the couple believed the stranger had simply left. Minutes later, the same vehicle returned. Its headlights illuminated their car. a man stepped out carrying a flashlight. At first, Michael believed it was a police officer approaching for a routine check. Instead, the stranger suddenly opened fire through the passenger side window. The attack lasted only seconds. After walking back toward his vehicle, the gunman unexpectedly returned. Hearing movement inside the car, he fired several more shots before calmly leaving the scene. Miraculously, Michael Mageau survived despite severe injuries. Darlene Ferrin was transported to a nearby hospital, but later died. For investigators, the similarities were impossible to ignore. A young couple, a secluded lover's lane, a sudden nighttime attack. No robbery, no apparent personal connection. Yet, the most shocking development came less than an hour later. At approximately 12:40 a.m., the Vallejo Police Department received a phone call from a man speaking in a calm, almost emotionless voice. He reported the Blue Rock Springs shooting. Then, without hesitation, he confessed to another crime. He claimed responsibility for the murders on Lake Herman Road 6 months earlier. After providing directions to the public telephone where he was calling from, the caller quietly hung up. Police rushed to the location. The booth was empty. No witnesses could describe the caller. The man had vanished. For the first time, investigators realized they were not dealing with two unrelated homicides. They were hunting a serial offender. Yet they still had no name, no face, and almost no physical evidence. Then, only weeks later, the case took an extraordinary turn. On August 1st, 1969, 3 major newspapers across Northern California each received nearly identical envelopes. Inside each envelope was a handwritten letter. Alongside the letter was one section of a complex, coded message. The writer claimed responsibility for both attacks. To prove he was telling the truth, he included details that had never been released to the public. Then came his demand. Print these ciphers on your front page, or I will continue my activities. The newspapers complied. Suddenly, an unknown murderer had transformed himself into a public figure. Across California, people rushed to buy newspapers. Families gathered around kitchen tables attempting to solve the mysterious code. Teachers brought copies into classrooms. Amateur cryptographers spent sleepless nights searching for hidden meanings. The killer had turned fear into a nationwide puzzle. Within days, a California schoolteacher named Donald Hardin and his wife Betty independently solved much of the first cipher. The decoded message surprised everyone. Instead of revealing his identity, the author spoke about killing people because he believed they would become his servants after death. The message was disturbing, but one thing was missing. Despite promising to reveal who he was, the cipher contained no name at all, only more questions. Just 4 days after the first cipher was solved, another letter arrived. This time, the writer introduced himself with 2 words that would become permanently etched into criminal history. This is the Zodiac speaking. From that moment forward, investigators, journalists, and the public all referred to the unknown offender by the same name, the Zodiac Killer. The letters continued. Each one seemed carefully designed to increase public fear. Some included additional ciphers. Others mocked investigators for failing to identify him. Several contained details that only the offender could have known. Whether every letter truly came from the same individual remains debated, but many are considered authentic by investigators. As media attention intensified, fear spread across Northern California. Parents warned teenagers to avoid isolated roads. Young couples stopped visiting lovers' lanes after dark. Police departments increased patrols in remote parking areas. Yet despite the growing pressure, Zodiac appeared completely unfazed. On September 27, 1969, the pattern changed dramatically. At Lake Berryessa, college students Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard
were relaxing near the shoreline during a quiet afternoon. Unlike the previous attacks, this one occurred in broad daylight. A strange man approached wearing an unusual black hood that completely concealed his face. A white crosshair symbol was displayed across his chest. He calmly claimed to be an escaped prisoner who needed money and a vehicle. Brian and Cecilia cooperated. The stranger tied them up. Then, without warning, he attacked them before quietly walking back toward their car. Before leaving, he used a marker to write on the vehicle door. The message listed the dates of the previous attacks, then added the current one. It was a chilling signature. Brian Hartnell survived and later described the attack. Cecilia Shepard was transported to the hospital but died from her injuries several days later. For the first time, investigators had a surviving witness who spent several minutes speaking directly with the attacker. His description helped create one of the earliest composite sketches connected to the case. Yet even that breakthrough failed to reveal his identity. Only 2 weeks later, Zodiac struck once again.
This time in the heart of San Francisco. On October 11th, taxi driver Paul Stein picked up a passenger in downtown San Francisco. The destination appeared routine. When the taxi reached the Presidio Heights neighborhood, something unexpected happened. The passenger attacked Stein inside the cab. Several nearby witnesses observed portions of the incident from apartment windows and immediately contacted police. A critical mistake followed. Because of an early communication error, responding officers were initially told to look for a different suspect description. The actual offender walked away from the scene before police realized the information was incorrect. Some officers may have unknowingly passed within a short distance of the man they were searching for. If the radio broadcast had been accurate from the beginning, history might have unfolded very differently. Following the Presidio Heights attack, the Zodiac case entered an entirely new phase. The murders became less frequent. The letters became more frequent. For years, newspapers continued receiving handwritten messages, greeting cards, maps, and additional ciphers that appeared to come from Zodiac. Some threatened school buses. Others claimed responsibility for crimes that investigators could never verify. Every new letter forced police to ask the same difficult question. Was the Zodiac still active? Or was someone simply enjoying the attention? Among the many messages, one cipher became especially famous. It contained 340 characters arranged in a complex pattern. Unlike the first code, this one resisted every attempt at decryption. Professional cryptographers examined it. Government agencies studied it. Amateur codebreakers spent decades trying to solve it. Nothing worked. The cipher became one of the world's most famous unsolved codes. Then, in 2020, more than 50 years after it first arrived, an international team of independent codebreakers finally succeeded. Using modern computing techniques combined with careful pattern analysis, they uncovered a message. Surprisingly, it contained no confession, no hidden identity, no secret location. Instead, the writer mocked public fascination with his crimes and dismissed rumors surrounding his capture. Even after decades, the cipher revealed almost nothing investigators could use. The mystery remained. Over the years, detectives investigated hundreds of possible suspects. One name appeared more often than any other: Arthur Lee Allen. Allen lived in California. He reportedly owned a Zodiac brand wristwatch displaying a symbol remarkably similar to the killer's crosshair. Several acquaintances later claimed he had made disturbing statements involving hunting people. At different times, investigators searched his residence. They compared fingerprints, collected handwriting samples, examined physical evidence. Years later, DNA testing was also considered. Yet every major piece of forensic evidence failed to conclusively identify Allen as the Zodiac Killer. Some investigators remained convinced he was responsible. Others believed the evidence simply wasn't strong enough. Officially, the case remained unsolved. Allen died in 1992. He was never charged with any Zodiac-related murder. Other suspects have emerged over the decades. Some attracted media attention. Others were supported by private investigators or amateur researchers. Each theory seemed convincing at first, then eventually collapsed under closer examination. The greatest obstacle has always been the same. No single suspect matches every known piece of evidence. The Zodiac seemed to leave behind just enough clues to generate endless theories, but never enough to prove any of them beyond reasonable doubt. Today, law enforcement agencies continue to preserve evidence from the case. Advances in forensic science, particularly genetic genealogy, have solved numerous historic investigations once believed impossible. Many experts believe the Zodiac case could someday follow the same path. Others argue that time itself may have erased the final answers forever. More than half a century has passed since the first attack on Lake Herman Road. Entire generations have grown up knowing the Zodiac only through documentaries, books, films, and internet discussions. Yet the unanswered questions remain remarkably unchanged. Who was he? How many crimes did he actually commit? Why did he crave publicity almost as much as violence? And how did he repeatedly evade one of the largest investigations in American history? Perhaps the most unsettling truth is not that the Zodiac was never identified. It is that one ordinary individual managed to manipulate an entire nation through fear, mystery, and carefully crafted messages. His greatest weapon may never have been the gun. It may have been uncertainty itself. Until the day his identity is proven beyond doubt, the Zodiac Killer will remain exactly what he wanted to become. A name remembered, a face unknown, and one of history's most enduring unsolved mysteries.